Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nerds with Friends. My name is Cody Leach, and as always, I'm joined by Christian Garcia.
What's up?
So, big news, first and foremost, we started a YouTube channel. So that's pretty exciting.
Like, fairly recently.
Yeah, it's youtube.com/Nerds with Friends, I'm pretty sure. There is another guy on there who has the Nerds with Friends name.
Bastard.
But, fuck that guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
fuck that guy.
he's got 10 videos, and they're all dumb. But we will be posting up at least the audio version of all of our podcasts up on there. So you'll be able to see that with like a static image of the podcast. But today we're actually trying out a video form of the podcast, which is kind of cool because we both decided not to brush our hair.
Yeah.
Shave, shower, that sort of thing.
Coming at quarantine funk.
Yeah, exactly. I think, we decided that we would just try it out just to see how it goes. You may never see the video of this, depending on how poorly or well it goes. But we thought it would be a fun experiment.
I have some fun ideas that hopefully will see the light of day that Cody is going to very much enjoy. So hopefully we'll get to do that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. The videos that you have, I don't know if I'm going to really like them that much, but a fun experiment.
It will be fun.
I think it'll be a good time to, try some new things, see if they stick. But enough about that. We'll get down to the regular show, which we know everyone is waiting for. We'll tell you briefly, real quick, about our sponsor, FNX Fitness, or FNX Fit. You can find all the info on our website, nerdswithfriendspodcast.com. But it's a cool supplement site if you like working out, getting ripped, getting swole.
Testosterone boost.
You can get testosterone boost, which makes your loads super big. So I'm told. I really like the Relax Sleep Aid, which helps me knock out at night. I like to pop 3 of those and see if I can finish before they kick in.
Super Greens. I know I say it all the time. Super Greens.
Super Greens are really good. And then they have protein powder, pre-workout, post-workout, collagen. I think they're supposed to be getting some CBD stuff on there too. So
nice.
That'll be kind of cool. But check them out. There's a link on nerdswithfriendspodcast.com as well as on our Instagram and Facebook, I believe, as well, and maybe Twitter too. You click on there and use the promo code NERDS. You get 15% off your order. It helps support the show and helps you get swole and shoot larger loads.
Which we all need right now.
Yeah.
Bigger loads.
I mean, everyone needs bigger loads, right? Am I right, ladies? But let's get down to business. Let's talk some nerdy confessions. I'll start it off this week. My nerdy confession is, so I haven't talked mini painting in a while, but I've still been doing it. I've been doing it a lot. Basically, I'll go over to a friend's house every Saturday. My friend Anthony, shout out Anthony. I know he doesn't listen, so that's fine.
As all close friends, they.
Yeah, I think
friends and family.
Friends and family are the worst at listening to the show. So if you are friends and family and you are listening, congratulations. You're the true blue.
And don't go back and listen to previous episodes. We definitely weren't talking shit at all. So don't just.
Yeah, I think if we mention your name and it wasn't in a kind light, we are sorry. This is off the cuff, but. We love you. Thank you for listening. And for all those of you who aren't listening, fuck you guys, because you're not listening.
Double. And if you know them, tell them that we said fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. I think, besides the point, I mean, yes, getting people to listen who are our friends and family, I think they're just tired of us. We've been doing this show for 6 or 7 years now. I forget what our last anniversary was. It's always on May the 4th, which is fun, but I think they just get tired of our bullshit all the time. So
I've heard you my entire life growing up. I don't need to fucking hear you right now.
Yeah, exactly. And I think so anyway, that has very little to do with what my nerdy confession was. My nerdy confession was I go over to my friend Anthony's house and me and him paint miniatures every Saturday. So I think that it's nice, first of all, to hang out with real people in person, which is why I love coming here to our beautiful 148 studios, which you guys can actually see if you're watching this video, which is really cool. We have quite a bit of nerd memorabilia. We have a lot of Transformers. Our friend Rick, who owns the place, is super big into Transformers. And he will be starting a YouTube channel, which eventually
we're gonna have him on.
We're gonna have him on probably next week. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. But anyway, so it's nice to be in person, and we've been painting every Saturday. I've been teaching him like how to get better at certain techniques from what I've learned, at least. I think that I've gotten better over the past 8 months or so that I've been painting minis now.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah, I think I started in December of last year, so it's getting there. 8-9 months. Something.
See, now it's not as impressive to me how much growth you've had.
I mean, I started yesterday, Christian. I've only been painting for 3 days.
Just like the ones you showed me as of recently. God damn, like those are amazing. But 8 months of practice, all right, well, maybe
Yeah, maybe pick it up a little bit. Maybe it's maybe you got to work on that shading technique a little bit better. But anyway, so we've been painting every week, and one of the fun things that we've been doing is we've been doing a lot of Warhammer minis, both Warhammer 40K, which is like the sci-fi version where, you got Ultramarines and, everything is very space-aged. Then there's Age of Sigmar, which is more fantasy-based. And I will say some of the models on Age of Sigmar are amazing. Like just the detail and the features and the design of them, they're just beautiful.
But not at Wish quality level, right? Like Wish.com.
Wish.com, I actually was pretty impressed with some of their minis. I bought 2. I will say the pricing's not great compared to what you would normally expect on Wish.com. I think that, normally when we think Wish, we think like, oh, this should be like $1 and, it's made in China and, it's super cheap. The packaging is super cheap. I will say that. It's just basically in a little plastic envelope. But the quality was actually pretty good on the Wish ones, but they are like $10 to $15.
For the minis?
For the minis, yeah. But I will say this. The minis that they are copying, like the actual, because I believe a lot of them are from like the game Kingdom Death, which we've kind of talked about. It's a very expensive board game. It's like $500, I think, for the base set. I think some of the minis are based on those, and those minis are about $30 a piece because they're very finely detailed. They're resin cast and molded.
I would still think they'd be selling it cheaper. I mean, like, you're knocking off some stuff. Like, come on, give me the knockoff price, not half off.
Yeah, I think, it's hard to say because, I mean, I feel like one of them I got, which was just like, I'll post a picture up of it. It's like a lady who's in very skimpy outfit because I wanted to work on.
What are you talking about? It's armor.
I wanted to work on skin tones, so I bought one with showing a lot of skin. And, I'd say that the quality overall is pretty good. But one thing I will say about it is that the mold lines are in kind of an interesting spot. Like on her legs, right across her thigh above her knee, like that's where 2 seams are. Because her legs are one piece and her torso from the thigh up is another piece.
I was going to say,
so you get these like lines going right across, if this is her leg, it's going right across.
I was going to say maybe she was previously wearing shorts, but you can see her thong, all of it, so she definitely wasn't.
Yeah, she has weird tan lines that are like 3D, which honestly, like I could improve upon if I got fine grit sandpaper and used some epoxy putty. I just didn't want to go to that level.
Particularly for like a Wish model.
Yeah, exactly. For a mini, I don't really care about. It's whatever. It's just this big titted girl with a skimpy thong on and guns.
Which surprisingly, the thong is so tight it's holding the gun.
Yeah, I am surprised that the G-string she's wearing is super tight.
Yeah,
probably cutting off circulation. Not very good.
Has to be.
But I will say that generally speaking, the quality of the detail is very good on those. So I was kind of impressed. The pricing is, I haven't found the real exact versions of each one, but if they are based off the Kingdom Death ones, they're about half to a third of the price
still
of
seems
normal,
too much
which is still a lot, but for a little plastic thing, you know what I mean? But anyway, back to what I was getting. My true nerdy confession is that this week I had bought these new paints called Scale 75 paints. Well, the company's called Scale 75. They're called Scale Color because they're the paint division. They are generally known for making 75 millimeter scale models, so taller busts and stuff like that. And I am super juiced about trying these new paints out. They came in the mail today, and they are known for being super, super matte, so that they don't have a lot of sheen to them. And I'm really excited to paint with them. So much so that I was like checking my phone every couple minutes
for tracking updates.
And I was just like, oh, are they here yet? Are they here yet? Are they here yet? And I was a little pissed because one of the colors that I ordered, which is like a yellowish tan almost, was out of stock. So I got a refund for that, which is, it's whatever. Things run out, even though it's the manufacturer I bought them from. So, I mean, take that as you will. But I will say that I was, a little bummed about that. But I'm excited to try these new colors out and see how matte they are. And I was like a little ashamed about how excited I was about, new paints. So
yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Anyway, what's your nerdy confession, Christian?
My nerdy confession is hopefully not that controversial. No,
I hate lesbians. I don't know.
No,
trying to figure out
a
controversial one.
Ghost of Tsushima is a better game than Last of Us 2.
Oh, hot take. Definitely a hot take.
And I don't mean it to say that Last of Us 2 is a bad game. It's just that's how amazing Ghost of Tsushima is. I just beat it. And I know we talked about we did a whole episode, but I don't care. I fucking love this game. Want to talk about it a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I take back also my critiques that I said where it was a little bit too level heavy on the villains on the showdowns. I fucked up. I didn't do enough upgrades. I went after mythical things when I wasn't ready for them. I didn't have the right charms. I didn't have the right suits. I didn't beef up the right moves.
It's hard to say no to those mythical quests when it's like, ooh, I get to learn like the Heavenly Strike or the Flame Sword or whatever.
Like now that I have certain charms and now that I have certain armor and now that I beefed up certain things, like I've done other showdowns, like, oh, now I feel like I could have gone back and that would have gone easier.
Mm-hmm.
So I take that back, my critique. I fucked up. The game didn't. It was so to me, it's a damn near perfect game. I love it as much as the Spider-Man game that came out. I would put it at that level.
Yeah.
And it was
as far as immersion too,
Yeah, it's all of it. Can't say enough great things. The voice actors were amazing. The motion cap was amazing.
The story was very good.
The story was amazing, and that was the other thing.
I'd say Last of Us might have a little bit more compelling of a story, just as far as like emotional, but not by much.
Well, so like
I think overall the gameplay kind of seals the deal.
Thank you, because you reminded me there was an article on morally gray characters and how like certain games are not doing it as well, and someone critiqued The Last of Us 2. It was kind of like, it was okay. I feel like this was very well balanced in Ghost of Tsushima. Like, I guess I won't say he does certain acts, and at the moment you understand why he did it, it saves hundreds of his men's lives. But then it also, you just taught the enemy a new trick, and they start using it against you.
Mm-hmm.
So both, I feel Jin was right with what he did, and his uncle was right in telling him why he shouldn't have done it. But it's like, okay, I can save certain people now, and I can take care of this issue later. Just the whole,
but at what cost?
At what cost? Yeah.
At what cost?
But that's what's so amazing, like about this game, where it's like I totally get where he's coming from. I 100% get it. I probably would have done the same fucking thing. Like, and even like men, like people that you allies that you didn't think would be on your side were with the decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, where some people are like, oh yeah, I can't believe I totally agree with you, or like, oh your uncle's not gonna like this.
Yeah, no, and like some characters like your uncle's not gonna like this, but I back you if you do it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, Jin has a lot of ride or die homies in that game for sure. He definitely earns their respect.
Did you finish the Norio? Norio also, I feel like Norio the monk.
Oh no, I have not. That one's like a 9-stepped quest, so I think I've only done 3 or 4 of them.
Norio, I loved his design. There is 9 quests with him, but I wish it was longer.
He's a cool guy.
He's a cool fucking guy who gets like a lot. Like People respect him, but I wish they'd gone a little bit longer. Also, his whole attire was fucking dope in his weapon.
He's a warrior monk.
Yeah, but you'll get to it. I don't want to ruin it, but it's like, oh.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it a lot last week.
But the confession is it's better than Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
And I love Last of Us 2, and I loved it. It was great, but Ghost of Tsushima was just amazing.
I will say that I agree with you. I think that Ghost of Tsushima overall is a better game than The Last of Us. There are things that Last of Us does better. I think the emotional buy-in of the story is much more real and potent in Last of Us. Obviously, with Ellie and Joel and Abby, there's these really strong emotional scenes that are hard to watch and hard to play sometimes, which that affected me probably more than any other video game did. But I will say overall, as a video game as a whole, Ghost of Tsushima is just leagues better. The environments looked better. The gameplay was much more advanced as far as like combat and upgrades and things like that go. The story was very, very good and very compelling. There's the very ending has some really emotional parts to it. But the scenery and environment was amazing.
Have you taken any pictures? I haven't done that yet. I've seen people post some amazing pictures, but I haven't done it because I just wanted to continue playing.
I played around with it a little bit. I've sent you a couple, and I use the photo session to take photos with my phone because I think that's one thing a PlayStation doesn't do very well is making it so that you can send the pictures that you take in Share Factory or whatever it's called, right? And then get them to your phone where you can connect them with your friends.
Would you think about it for advertisement-wise, it would be easier for them.
100%. Well, what they want is, like, they have a deal with Twitter. They have, they used to have a thing with Facebook, if you remember, and then they lost that because it used to have your Facebook picture on your PlayStation, but it's not there anymore because they lost their contract with Facebook. And they're like, oh, we'll get it back. I'm like, well, that was a year ago now. But you're able to tweet it. But it's like I don't always want to tweet it. Sometimes I just want to send it to my friends, and I'm not someone who uses Twitter a lot. We use it for the podcast, of course, but like I've long since abandoned like my personal Twitter account. I don't use it very much anymore.
But
so it's like
easy
it's fine.
For advertisement. Put a little fucking watermark even or whatever.
All you have to do is you put a watermark in it, made with PlayStation Share Factory or whatever, and then you should be able to access it in the PlayStation app. I think that's a
God, we're so fucking smart.
God,
listen to us.
I know. All these companies just need to listen up.
Just pay us a little bit.
Yeah. Like you can pay us in video games. I mean, we'll put it to good use.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you playing the Avengers beta this weekend?
No, I didn't even know that was out.
I think the beta comes out this weekend if you pre-ordered it. I've heard some, so-so reviews of it.
I haven't bought it yet just because I don't like the designs of Captain America and Tony Stark.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that the character design is definitely one of the weakest things that I've seen so far, for sure.
And I haven't read any reviews, but I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna end up buying it. But no, I haven't pre-ordered it.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's one of those ones where it's like I will play it eventually because it's Avengers and I love that. But it's one of those things where it's like, oh, man, Square Enix, why didn't you do a better job? Like, they just look so bad. Like, the hair looks bad. The faces look so fucked up. And then now we've just played 2 games in a row.
That were amazing.
You can tell who the actors were and the sweat pouring down from under their hair and their pores. I was watching a thing on... I think Corridor Crew, I think is what it might have been, which is Corridor Digital. They do like special effects and stuff, and they make their own short films and things like that as well. Check them out on YouTube, Corridor Digital. They were saying that one of the things that makes a face look realistic is if the pores stretch. Like that's one of the things that our eye perceives that makes things look real or fake. So it's one of those things where if the pores don't stretch, if like when I'm like gritting up my face and I'm like squinting and things like these pores up here, are scrunching together. These are stretching out, and that's what makes like lifelike skin texture.
It's funny that you brought that up. I just noticed that in the game of Ghost of Tsushima, like there was a tense moment with your uncle, and when there's a close up of your face, you just see like a couple like sweat marks go down one side and one on the other. It's like, dude, that looks so fucking real,
right?
Like, and it's just a small little subtle thing that's like, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean that we won't talk about it that much. We promise, guys. We won't talk about a whole nother.
We have other stuff.
We have other stuff to talk about, but one of the crazy things about it is things like that, or like as you're slicing and dicing Mongolians, like blood splatters up on your robes and stuff, and it stays there until you walk through water or dive into something, or rains or whatever, or like you trounce through mud in your little kimono thing.
And even when it cuts to a cutscene, like it'll be on there while you're talking to cat. It doesn't like magically go away.
Yeah.
It even gets like on faces. Like I've had it on Jin's face. Like he has it on there.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed is like I'll go through and I'll just like murder a bunch of Mongolians and have blood all over my face. And then it goes into a scene. He's just like, so I think, well, how do you feel about the mission? And he's just like covered in blood. It's like, oh my God.
You're not going to wipe that off?
No. I'll get it later,
I'm going to murder more people.
It's just Mongolian. You wipe it off now, you get more on later. Am I right? All right. Well, one of the things, fun things, I think, during all this quarantine, a lot of us have been kind of starved for content. Would you agree? Like, first of all, we didn't get our summer blockbusters this year. Dude,
Black Widow,
Top Gun, Mulan.
Yeah. Did you see that Disney Plus is trying to charge $30 for you to rent it?
Oh my God! Fuck you, Disney.
$30. You're already getting my subscription, and then you're going to charge me $30. Like, Black Widow, it would bug me.
$30. Yeah, Black Widow would bug me, but I would do it.
But I would do it. But for Mulan, get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not
$30. Like, so they. But I'm just going to watch it by myself in my room. I'm not going to take two friends with me. So it's like you're getting that much more. Plus, you don't have to pay any distribution.
Yep.
You don't have to pay, theaters, to, I don't know how exactly distribution works.
You know what that is?
Theater. It's extortion is what it is.
They
have a word for it, Christian. It's called extortion. It is illegal.
They're fucking pissed that their parks are closed. They're not getting any of that park money. They're like, fuck it, we're sitting on these movies. We need to make more money. That's like, this is one way that they can make some of that money they're missing.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because other movies have done this throughout the quarantine, where like Invisible Man was one of those ones where like right during its movie run, theater shut down completely.
Trolls was it?
Trolls. Yeah, Trolls is, come on.
It made a killing.
Yeah. Well, little kids see a lot of movies, okay? Especially when they're locked at home with their parents. Like, Jesus Christ, just watch this movie.
But it wasn't $30. I'm pretty sure.
No, they were all $20, which is, if you think about it this way, it's a 1-day rental. It's $20. That's still kind of a lot, but it's similar to going to movies. If I do go to the movies by myself, which I don't do.
I've never done it.
I've done it once or twice.
I've never done it.
But it's for like a movie I really wanted to see, and none of my friends wanted to see, like some weird foreign movie.
So this is what we're going to do. We're going to get it for $30, and we're going to have like 100 people just watch it.
Fuck you, Disney.
Just get a bunch of other people to do that, and that way they lose some money, hopefully.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to pay $30 to watch it. We're going to rip it onto a hard drive, and then we're just going to give it to everyone on the street. We'll just hand out flash drives to everyone, and it's going to cost us money. Like, but flash drives aren't that expensive, but then we'll just fuck Disney.
But Mulan, like my big thing is you're going to do this with Mulan. Everyone wants to see Black Widow.
Yeah.
Like you would have made more money. If anything, like they fucked it up. Like they're going to do this with Mulan. They're like, oh, it's not going to work. We're not going to do this with Black Widow, which would have gotten people to watch it.
Yeah, that's true. And one thing too with I don't know. I'm sure it has a lot to do with like Mulan. Like they weren't expecting it to break box office records, but every Marvel movie does crazy well, right? but I don't know, man. That's a shitty move. I knew that it was coming to Disney Plus, and I figured they would charge for it, but that's just so much.
They're probably pissed with all the Pixar movie that was amazing, all the money they lost.
Onward?
Yeah, they were probably pissed with all the money they lost on
true.
Onward.
That's true. Onward was really good.
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
That's what I'm saying. And like, it got
even that one, I might have done $30 if I had known how good it was going to be. That's one of those things. Mulan might be amazing. Eddie Murphy better show up in it, but he's not going to.
He's not going to.
Yeah, that's so stupid. God damn it. He's fixing for a comeback, Disney. He just needs the right vehicle.
Coming to America too?
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I think Arsenio Hall's going to be back in it too,
Yep.
right? Yep. Awesome. Well, anyway, the reason why I brought up all of that shenanigans is that, we're looking for new stuff to watch because we're home a lot, and, you burn through the movies that are out there, the movies you've been waiting to see for a while, the TV shows you've heard like a good review on, and you start running dry. Like, I just started that show Cursed, which is supposed to be pretty good.
I just started that today. I've almost finished the first episode.
It's okay. It's, I was expecting to be blown away. It's got that chick from 13 Reasons Why,
Never saw that.
You never saw it? It was pretty sad. She murders herself. I mean,
I know.
That's like the whole basis.
No,
of
I
the
know.
whole thing.
I've had people tell me about this show, but it's just like she murdered herself.
Yeah, I mean, I keep waiting for it to happen in this one and make it more interesting. She's a little bland on screen. I do like the guy playing Merlin. He's from Vikings, right? He's one of the...
I don't think so, but I know.
I think he's Floki.
I thought it was him too, but
he's a Skarsgård brother.
I felt it in my gut that it was him, but I didn't know.
The Icelandic Skarsgårds. That family is crazy. They're all crazy, successful actors.
Yeah.
Because there's I forget Alexander. He's the father,
dad,
right? And he's in obviously Avengers. He's been in a bunch of movies, though. You know him if you saw him.
You're right. Damn it, he looks way different in this. He got beefed up a little bit. Maybe that's what threw me off.
Floki was always kind of really. That was his name, right?
Yeah, Floki.
Yeah, he was always really skinny and crazy. He's not that beefed up, but I mean, he's got that Viking blood in him.
I guess I'm so used to like
eats
the
a
crazy...
chicken, it just an ab pops out, And then
I guess I'm so used to him being like the weirdo, like he's drunk in this, which he's got like a little bit of like Captain Jack Sparrow vibe to him. But,
sure.
I feel you that it's starting off a little slow. I'm gonna watch the whole thing. I'm gonna give it a chance. I do like that they're made Merlin not the hero. Like, I'm not sure if he's a villain, but he's not particularly coming off too great right now.
Yeah, well, one thing that they do a lot with any of these, it's basically, so the story of this thing is, it's basically the story of the lady in the water who has Excalibur, and
she gives it to Arthur.
gives it to Arthur, right? Which is, also there's a sword in the stone, which you see a brief glimpse of that kind of, but this is telling her story, and it's interesting because it's a story that I don't personally know a lot about. It's like, oh, it's a lady in the water. She hangs out in the lake, I guess. I don't know. She loves swords. Who knows? But one thing they always do with these Arthurian legends is that it's always like Merlin's got this huge reputation where he's like this amazing magician, but he's always like, oh, I've lost it, or I'm not as good anymore, or those are blown out of proportion. I want to see a show where it's just Merlin being a badass. And I know there are shows out there called Merlin, but I've seen parts of them and they look like shit.
I kind of like, well, I don't know if it's going to go this way, but like in the Dark Tower, there is a Merlin and he's necessarily not bad, necessarily not good, but I feel like he leans more towards bad. And I feel like that's kind of the vibe they're going with this. And that's what's going to get me to stay. And I do love that Skarsgård actor. So I want to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think I'm 3 episodes into it.
Plus, they showed a 3-headed baby. So, like,
Really?
Yeah, there was a part where Merlin is looking for signs, and there's like this merchant for whatever reason he pulls back, a little blanket.
3-headed baby.
There's like a baby. It's one
there's
head.
There's a lot of
sides.
violence in it. I will say that. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting like a really like light teen fantasy show, but there is a lot of violence in it. So Anyway, but that's one of those things that I'm trying to explore. I recently started watching Harley Quinn, the animated show, which if you have not seen that, go watch it. It's on HBO Max now. It's amazing. It's basically like, it's as if Deadpool the movie, the Ryan Reynolds movie, was animated in the DC universe. The jokes are hilarious. Bane does "this is my reckoning" voice, and everyone's cursing up a storm. It's super violent, and it's all about Harley Quinn and her like separating from the Joker. Alan Tudyk does the voice of the Joker, and I think he does a very good job. And
he's a great actor and an amazing
voice actor. And then I think her name is Katie Kuko from Big Bang Theory. She is the voice of Harley Quinn, and Lake Bell is the voice of Poison Ivy.
I've only heard amazing things about the show. The only reason why I haven't seen it is because I didn't want to get the DC
app. I think that app is dying, which is why Doom Patrol and this have moved over to HBO Max. And I've also heard rumors that Swamp Thing might be coming back too. I know you're a big.
Well, I haven't seen it, but I've heard amazing things about it too. I heard it was super. It was great.
Yeah. So on that one, I think it got canceled after like the first episode, but the first episode was very well received.
Yeah.
And so, what's really funny is my friend Kaina. Her dad is in the original Swamp Thing movie.
What?
Yeah.
Who is he?
I think he's the Swamp Thing.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm trying to remember. I'd have to look it up. His name is Ray Weiss. He was in.
Yo, can we get him on the podcast?
I don't know. I haven't talked to my friend Kaina in a while. I think she lives in LA now, but she's awesome, and she's been in several very good bands.
So the 82 one, Return of the Swamp Thing or Swamp Thing?
I think it was the first one. Click on the first one. This will make for some great video pod and great audio pod. Right there. This guy.
Wait. Oh, he's the villain, isn't he?
Is that the villain?
He's the villain.
Okay. It's been probably 30 years since I've seen him.
I feel like I've seen this guy in a lot of things.
He is in a lot of things. Go ahead and click on him and see. He was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think. Not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter. He was in
the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Okay.
Oh, dude.
I mean,
that was a great, you know what?
Amongst other things, yes.
That was one of the shows that I didn't think I was going to like that was really good, and I'm bummed out that it got canceled.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a very good character actor. He's been in quite a few things. Yeah, he's I haven't gotten to meet him. I haven't hung out with my friend Kaina in a while, which I regret, but I see pictures of her with him all the time. I'm just like, dude, that's so funny.
We're going to try to make it. I promise nothing.
He's also in Twin Peaks. Like, he's the father of the girl who gets murdered in Twin Peaks in the beginning of Twin Peaks.
Yeah, no, I feel like I've seen him in a lot of 80s stuff. We're going to promise to try to see if possible.
Yeah, like once all this stuff dies down, we might be able to Skype him in. I don't know. I'm sure I can reach out and ask. But, so... I don't remember why I brought that up. Oh, because it was on DC Universe. Rumors is coming back, the new one.
Nice.
So hopefully that'll come back. Anyway, the whole reason I brought this up is because there is a very new show on there. Umbrella Academy Season 2 has just released on Netflix, which is very exciting news. And we'll do a more in-depth review of like the actual season. I will say 100% go watch it. It's everything you've liked from the season 1. But better. Like the first scene is just amazing.
The first scene was
you see them all using their powers and stuff, like even more so than before, which is awesome. And all the characters come back. Well, most of them do. I don't think Mary J. Blige didn't come back. But a lot of the favorites and some really good new ones come in too, which are awesome. And it's an excellent story, and I think we talked about this a little bit back when the first one came out, was that I was like, oh man, this is based on a comic book by the guy who, he's from Taking Back Sunday, I think. Gerard Way.
I don't know.
It's that or Sum 41.
Anyway.
Our emo friends out there are lighting us up right now because we don't know. I think it's Taking Back Sunday. Gerard Way is his name. He wrote the comic book. So after the first season came out, I got the comic book. And I was like, I'm not super excited.
Yeah, no. Well, this was my first one if we're doing the segment. The Umbrella Academy was going to be my first one. But...
So I thought it would be fun to do a segment where we talk about, adaptations of, whether it be books, comic books, video games, whatever, where they make either a movie or a TV show or a video game or what have you, where they've adapted the original story and the adaptation is better than the original. So your first one
Was
is
Umbrella.
Umbrella Academy. So why do you think that the Netflix show is better than the original?
In so many ways. So I watched the show, and like you, I thought it was amazing. It was original. I loved all the characters. Number 5, I don't know the actor's name. The kid, he's amazing.
He is very good.
He's very, very good.
You're gonna hear me crack open a cold one.
I want to
sparkling water.
I want to see continue his career. He's going to do amazing things, I feel. So I was like, oh, and then I found out, like, whoa, there's a graphic novel, there's a comic book, and I was like, I got to check it out. And wow, it is not good. The best thing I could say is that I like the artwork.
The artwork I actually do like. I like the character design. I think is very cool.
Yeah, that was cool. The story-wise,
it's fucking bad.
Like, if I don't know how they got the show like greenlit. Like, if someone was like, "Hey, I want to make this into a show," this is the
don't read the comic book.
Yeah. Like, this is the script I wrote. But if someone was like, "This is a graphic novel," do you want to make it? Like, no, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my office. We're not making this shit. But I don't want to say con man, whoever the salesperson that pitched this idea, like, fucking genius, and I'm glad the show got made.
Yeah,
I think really good.
I think that, they probably came up with I think in the biz they call it a treatment or something, right? Where they've come up with like a screenplay idea and maybe some story outlines of how they're going to do it, and they could just say it's based off this comic book. But I think at the end of the day, the studio execs are looking at the actual screenplay, the actual outline to it, and obviously like things like budget and stuff like that to make it happen. So I think that at the end of the day, they're probably not going to the comic and be like, well, this is a piece of garbage comic. There's no way I'm making this movie or TV show. So I think luckily that's why some of these things that we're going to talk about happen, but yeah, I was very underwhelmed with it.
I don't think I finished. I think I finished the first volume. I did not start the second volume.
Yeah, I finished the first volume, which I think is called like the Apocalypse Suite, which is basically what season 1 was.
Yes.
Though they do have some the story is very different.
Yes. Hazel and Cha-Cha had like very minimal like.
Yes, and it doesn't go into much of what 5 did in the Apocalypse or anything like that.
His was the only design I didn't like. Because he was like squat.
He was a squat little,
yeah,
like chunky kid kind of thing.
It was weird. It wasn't that, like he wasn't.
His proportions were off.
Yeah, like he wasn't drawn like he was like a chubby kid. It was just weird.
Yeah, he was drawn like a little gremlin kind of guy.
Yeah, it was fucking weird.
One was great. Space Boy, yeah, and that's another thing is they call them all by their superhero names in the comic book, which is fine. Like I think that's a cool thing, but yeah, Space Boy was different. Seance who is Klaus. I get all the.
He was not a hedonistic.
He was not anything like the character in the show.
Yeah.
And he's one of like the fan favorite characters. I think
he was like very serious. Like in, I think he looked old like compared to everyone else.
Yes, he looked old even though they're all the same age, right? That's supposed to, well, I guess except 5. But yeah, it's bad, man. I was very disappointed in that one. So I thought this would be kind of a cool thing to explore more of them. So that's your first one.
Yes.
My first one is I'm going to talk a little bit about a little book called "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?" You heard of the book?
Yes.
You heard of the book. You should have. It's basically a book by Philip K. Dick, right? He's the one who wrote that one.
I believe so. It's one of the big guys.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He's an amazing sci-fi writer. If you guys haven't checked him out, he also did Total Recall, the Minority Report. I think he did. That might not be correct. But he did the Adjustment Bureau, Total Recall, and a bunch of other ones that have been made into movies or TV shows since. Anyway, he wrote "Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep?" Terrible title for a book, but it got made into the movie called Blade Runner, one of the coolest titles.
Was it Blade Runner? I thought it was
Nope, it's definitely Blade Runner.
Oh, okay.
What are you thinking of?
I was thinking the Will Smith one.
iRobot?
Yeah.
No, that was iRobot. by Isaac Asimov.
Oh, okay.
Which, if iRobot the movie was better, I would maybe argue it, because the book was a little dry, and it's very different from what the movie was, but it was okay. But Blade Runner, I think, is arguably one of like the quintessential sci-fi movies out there, from a world building, costume design, set design, cinematography standard. I mean, it just revolutionized how sci-fi looked. I would say that the movie itself, the book is still very good, but the movie did so much for sci-fi. Of course, it's got Harrison Ford in it, who's amazing. And depending on which version you see, there's a million versions out there. Skip the one with the voiceover. That one's garbage.
I didn't know there was a voiceover one.
Yeah, I forget which one. That might be like the theatrical cut or something. The one that got released, they like threw some voiceover, and it's just Harrison Ford cashing it in, trying to do like the film noir detective voiceover. She was a dame unlike any other dame, that sort of thing. But it's Harrison Ford just like, so I'm what they call a Blade Runner, and I hunt replicants, which are robots that look like human but aren't. And this is my story.
You tell me that wasn't better?
I don't think it was better. Anyway, so that movie, I think, just like, and then 2049, which I think people slept on and was even. I'd say 2049.
I haven't seen it. I'm gonna make a point to watch it.
Oh my God. Watch it as soon as you can. Here's a bonus section to my pick for adaptation. I think 2049 is better than Blade Runner, the original.
I can't say one way or another because I haven't seen it, so it's not mind blowing to me. But I can understand why it might be to some.
It is so effing good. That's a hot take, though. I don't know if everyone agrees with me on that one. I think most people who've read the book and seen the movie agree that the movie Blade Runner is better than the original one. It's darker, it's grittier, still deals with a lot of the same philosophy and things like that. The one thing that's kind of crazy is the book, it's called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. A big part of the book is that like pets are very expensive in the future. No one has like real pets, so they all have fake animal pets, and there's chapters and chapters on these, like, oh, so did you hear so and so got a real parrot? Oh my God, there's no way you can afford a real parrot, or I forget what it was.
I feel like there's
it might have
no
been
way
it might have been a snake. I don't know. It was
a replicant with the technology, the material would go into than just having two dogs go at it.
Yeah,
getting a puppy.
I don't know. It was very strange, and it's funny because when you read old sci-fi. Though his isn't that old. I mean, I think it's from like the 70s. But if you read was it Kurt Vonnegut did a couple weird sci-fi ones, and then like Ray Bradbury. Like if you read some of his, like Ray Bradbury is also awesome, and he did this one called There Will Come Softly Falling Rains, which is a short story. Read that one if you haven't read it before. It's all about smart house and things like that. But like that story is amazing because it 100% predicts what like our homes are like today. There's little robot, little vacuum cleaners that come out, clean with a mess. Roombas, right? There's like basically a digital assistant like an Alexa or a Google who's like saying, the weather outside today is a crisp 64 degrees. Don't forget, you have to take Marnie to school and that sort of thing. But there's a surprise ending to that short story, so check it out. There Will Come Softly Falling Rains, I think it's called. So there's cool stuff like that, but then there's also stuff where it's like it's very, very dated, where you're like, oh God, like what we know of science has advanced so much. Where when they talk about like,
I thought it was gonna be the misogynistic stuff, like,
oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like women, look at her, she's trying to vote, blah blah blah. Like,
yeah, exactly. My mind goes to too many dark places thinking of like bad examples.
We'll just skip it.
Yeah, exactly. Black people have their own home world. Now it's like, oh god,
it's like bad at the time, or like maybe at the time made sense. Really, really fucking bad now.
Yeah. But anyway, it's interesting to see. Like, I think that Blade Runner, the movie, tying it all back, does a better job of predicting what the future looks like compared to the book. I think the book has like some of those things, like the pet thing is just, it's so off the wall. You're like, really? Like, like you said, having 2 dogs fuck is way, way easier than making robot dogs that everyone can afford. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So I think with a lot of sci-fi writers, the real ones that stand out are the ones that hit closest to the truth. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my first pick. What's your second one?
Second one, also try Ninja Turtles. If you go back and look at the comic, and it's 2 guys. It was just 2 guys who pulled money together.
Eastman and Laird
pulled money together to do this comic that, like me, my first introduction to the Turtles were the cartoons, which to me were amazing.
Yeah.
It was great, and that's the Turtles that we know. To try to go back and look at it, which it's not bad, but I do feel the cartoon was a more marketable success. But it's like it's darker. Like they're killing people, and I didn't know how much they had ripped off of Daredevil.
100%. Well, that's why it's called the Foot Clan.
Right, they were instead of the hand. But they even tied it in. And I this is me guessing because it is a person.
It's supposed to be like a parody of ninja type comics.
But there is like this radioactive stuff that gets hit and it falls down into the sewers, which we all know the story. There were 4 turtles and the rat. But it's supposed to be the same sewer and the same sewage from Daredevil. But they weren't trying to directly rip it off. But anyway, so
the same that gave him his
powers. But the cartoons were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then my third part is the first movie they did. To me, was
so good.
So good. It was so good because they did.
I like the second one too.
The second one was good, but
you got Vanilla Ice. You got
Ice Baby.
No, Go Ninja Go Ninja
Sorry,
Go.
Forgive me.
The classic song of our generation.
But
Toka and Razor.
That movie did a great job of being kid friendly, but having really dark like connotations and like there was like they kept it kid friendly, but there was still drug use. There was still like kids doing like the foot was like gangs like it. But it balanced it well, which I feel like is not a fucking easy thing to do. But they did a great job. The prosthetics, the practical effects were amazing.
They look good by today's standards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the faces moving and things like that. And that first movie was done on like an independent film budget, which is the craziest thing out there. But yeah, I'd agree. I again, not to say that the original comics were bad.
They weren't bad, but I feel like the transition from the cartoon was great.
Yes.
And then the transition to the movie was also great.
Yes. And then I would say one of the best video game adaptations, the Ninja Turtle arcade game.
Turtles in Time?
No, not Turtles in Time, just the first one. The first arcade game where like that first level you're in like an, I don't know.
Is that
like
the one where on the
building?
side they have an actual April O'Neil, like they have a person dressed? She's always on the side like with like a camera, like.
Maybe it might be. I remember the first one. It's just a side scroller where you can play up to 4 people.
Yeah, and Cowboy or not Cowboy and Bebop and Rocksteady are like the first one.
Yeah, I think Bebop, and then like the Shredder jumps out a window with April O'Neil. Yeah, it's that one.
Nice.
Dude, me and my dad used to play that game. We would just fucking play it, and that was like back when my dad would play video games. And anyone who's met my dad knows that not a big gamer. Not a big gamer. He hasn't really picked up one since. But yeah, we would sit and play that one. And then once we got Game Genie, we would just beat the whole game. We would sit down and play the whole game start to finish, which is weird to think about, knowing what kind of guy my dad is now, that he would sit down and play an entire video game start to finish.
Because you wanted to play it, man.
I guess. He's a good dad. He's just not into what I like.
But yeah, that's what second one and not to say that the previous ones were bad, it's just that each new rendition got better.
Yeah.
And then Michael Bay fucking ruined it.
Oh my God. Here's what I'll say about the Michael Bay ones.
It's terrible.
I went in expecting a train wreck, and there was parts that I liked. The character design was god awful.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say we're good. I was like, we're gonna have to end this podcast.
No. It was Shredder looked like shit. The turtles looked like shit. But I will say some of the voice actors were really, really good. And there was some cool action scenes and things like that where I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. But it
bulletproof turtles.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah.
No.
That was
fucking no.
You ever shot a turtle? You don't know.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
I have. Fucking blow up
the one scene that I did enjoy
mm-hmm.
where you can actually see them, like their relationship as them as brothers and them being teenagers, was in the elevator when like one of them starts like banging and they just start dancing, and I was like, okay, that's kind of like the turtles I remember and growing up with, like being goofballs.
Yeah, exactly.
But outside of that,
yeah, I think you're definitely right on that one. I think it was, he did what he does to a lot of things that we love and just shit on it. So you got a lot of the circling helicopter shots of them
and
on
a bunch of explosions. Like there wasn't that much, and particularly in the first movie, there's not that much technology with the turtles. Sure, eventually they start fighting space creatures, but like,
when Raph gets that black suit that he wears, like the ninja suit. You remember that in the comics? Oh, so good. So good. Yeah, the Michael Bay is pretty much garbage. But I agree. I think first movie, second movie, both excellent. And the TV show, I still remember parts of that TV show. Like it's, and for Comic-Con this year, for the online Comic-Con, they actually released the original toys, which was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Like they had the molded. Remember on those original toys, you had to snap the weapons out of the thing. They released the original molds and everything. Like they made a set of the 4 turtles, Splinter, and Shredder.
I would have bought those.
Yeah, you can still get them. I don't know how much the markup has gone on them, but they were released for a Comic-Con exclusive.
Which turtle did you identify the most?
Here's the thing with the turtles is I wanted to identify with Michelangelo.
Okay.
Because he's a fun guy. Nunchucks are fucking awesome, but it was always Raphael for me. Raphael is my absolute favorite.
I was always split. I was always 50-50 Raphael and Leonardo.
Ooh.
I was always split. I could never pick one.
Yeah. I love, like, they're all great. And I think, I think Leonardo, awesome weapons. Probably some of the best weapons in there, but of course they're fighting robots, so he never really kills anyone. But in the comics, they're people, and he straight slices them. Yeah, they were so much fun, and I love Casey Jones.
Oh yeah, he was awesome.
And then what was the samurai rabbit's name?
I want to say Yojimbo, but I'm sure it's not, just because
Yojiro or something like that. Yeah, it was. God, I love Ninja Turtles. All right, my next one, Christian. This might be a bit of a hot take. And I'm sure people are going to disagree with me. But Lord of the Rings.
God damn it! I felt you saying it. That was my third one.
Was it?
But I hate the fact that
we're talking about the animated cartoon, right?
No.
That the one?
No, like I love the books, but the movies were a little bit better, and even saying it, like it hurts me to say it, but like, because I have so many people that will shit on the books. I'm like, the books are amazing. The books are fucking amazing, but they are a little I can't believe it. They are a little wordy at certain parts.
Yes, and that was. This is not saying that the book is bad. This is saying that I think what the movie did and what Peter Jackson was able to do with those 3 movies. We're talking about just the Lord of the Rings, not the Hobbit. The Hobbit, I actually like the book better than the 3 movies that they extend. Like, it was too much. But with Lord of the Rings, what Peter Jackson was able to do that I love so much is that he was able to take this very wordy, very extensive world and show enough of it and condense the story enough where the story is linear and easy to follow, but also creating a world that still seemed gigantic and grand in that Tolkien, expanse. You know what I mean? I think that he did a very good job of condensing it down into something palatable where, the movies aren't short. They're,
No.
if you're looking at extended ones, they're 3.5 to 4 hours long each. So that's a long, like nowadays they will just make a Netflix show out of it, right? But I think he like, I read those books probably too early. Like I read them and I'm like, God damn, this is fucking like we've been singing songs around a campfire for 40 pages.
That's why one of the reasons I was not a big fan of the songs in the book, but they're amazing. They're still amazing.
It's amazing that someone came up with them. Like Tolkien was sitting there like, well, what would dwarves sing about? And he writes these long songs, creates multiple languages. I mean, the books are amazing, and they're a feat of literary prowess like that we have not yet seen. Like, there's obviously Brandon Sanderson and Robert Jordan have done very good jobs of making these expansive, with Stephen King, these expansive fantasy worlds, but everything goes back to Tolkien, right? And C.S. Lewis to a lesser extent, I think.
Well, and that's one of the reasons how Stephen King was like, did the Dark Tower. He directly references, I want to do something at the level of Tolkien.
Right. And I think it's very hard to do that. And I still think those books are great, but those movies are perfect.
Plus, Carl Urban. He's in there.
He's the leader of the Rohirrim.
There's so Rohan.
Yeah, well, the Rohirrim are the
is that was
the horse, the
and I
cavalry.
just want more Carl Urban in more things.
Yeah, we need more Carl Urban. His name can get hard to say sometimes. Carl Urban.
Ooh, I'm super excited.
Carl Urban
about the new The Boys second season.
Yes. I haven't read that one yet, so that could be a retroactive addition to this list.
They're both great, but not the same story. But they're both amazing.
Sure. My third one, because I kind of stole your other one, was, oops, let me think of what it was now. I have it on my notes here. Oh, I think so. Avengers: Infinity War. And this might be kind of an easy take on it, but I think that the Avengers: Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet storyline that they did in the movie is much, much better than what happened to the fucking camera app? It's much better than the comic book. And it's not saying that the comic is a bad thing. It's that the Avengers from the Marvel Cinematic Universe was so good.
So you're saying you didn't like Hulk's 70s V-cut fucking jacket?
Nope, I did not like that.
His jeans and...
Nope.
That was pretty bad. That was like one of the worst parts of reading that comic.
I think a lot of, especially when you have a comic book event like that, I think it's very hard for it to be cohesive and straightforward because they're tying into all the other monthly books, you know what I mean, or weekly books. So I think that's a big part of why things like Flashpoint or Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet, or the Crisis on Infinite Earths, it's hard to do those well in movies and stuff, just like the comics, because they pull from too much other stuff.
Yeah.
What makes a good adaptation is writers and directors who can take all that information, everything that happens, and condense it down to what is the message of this thing, what is the true plot, and how do we convey that in a 2 hour to 3 hour movie kind of thing. And I think the Russo brothers did a very good job of making a weird out there thing where he's like courting death and, trying to win her over by snapping out, half the universe. And then the lady who ends up, or the person who ends up taking him out at the end is Nebula, but she's like dead. And she's like, or she's not dead. She's like,
it's like a weird
zombie or whatever. And she ends up winning the whole thing. It's too zany. And
Well, no, she took it and then she undid everything. At the end, Adam Warlock was
that's
the one
right, Adam Warlock.
ended up having.
And then Adam Warlock has his alter ego, the Void or whatever. No, that's the Sentry.
That's Sentry. Magnus?
Magnus, yeah. Or Magus. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It's basically a warlock and a mage. So that's kind of how they. Anyway, yeah, I think they did a very good job of conveying that and just tying it together so well. I think that that's one of
also it carries more weight on scene. Like it's harder on paper to transition like the fear or like the big weight of what's going on. Like
plus it's a weekly book. Like it's easy to look at it all in a nice graphic novel volume that's like 120 pages long. But remember, they came out in these little like 15-page or however. How many pages are generally in a comic book?
26.
It's short.
26.
That might be true, I guess.
Also, I mean, I get what they were trying to do in the I agree with you that the movies were better in the graphic. Not to take anything away, because if it wasn't for the graphic novels, we wouldn't have the movies.
Yep.
But and there's a scene where when he has the glove, the deities of the Marvel universe and the galactic beings all decide, okay, we need to intervene. This guy's way too strong, and they all attack him at once, and he's able to defeat them. It's like, all right, well, these are galactic beings. Like I understand that he has the Infinity Stones, but at the end of the day, he's still a mortal. Like now, I guess he got to the level of a god, but it's kind of silly to think that these deities pooled together would not be able to still stop him. Which to me, kind of like I get it. They're trying to make Thanos seem a bigger threat, but it came off silly to me.
Yeah, I think, and that's one of the things that comic books have problems with a lot of times is power scaling. And Dragon Ball Z does this too, right? Like everyone that Goku fights is the strongest in the galaxy
At the time.
Or
at least known.
And then it's like, oh, there's no way you could possibly get any more powerful. And then it's like, oh, this guy's actually 3 times as strong as Frieza. And now Goku just trains really, really hard. And now he's not Super Saiyan 1, he's Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4. Not Super Saiyan 4 because that's not canon anymore. Now it's Super Saiyan God. Then it's Super Saiyan Blue. And then it's Super Saiyan Rose. And then it's Super Saiyan.
You can't hit God level and then
Ultra Instinct.
Then still have levels after that.
That was ambitious, calling it Super Saiyan God. And
yeah,
then,
just
just kidding. We have like 3 more levels that's going to come up after this.
And I know I hear what you're saying, and I know it's silly, but I just love Dragon Ball so much.
I love it too.
It doesn't bother me.
It does. It bothers me if I think too hard about it. You know what I mean?
If you just accept it.
If you just accept it, like Goku's just gonna get stronger. But then the problem with that too is that a lot of the other characters don't get stronger. You know what I mean? Here's when we should have thrown on here. Dragon Ball Z. Like I've only read a little bit of the manga, but like the show is so good.
The show's
Dragon Ball Z specifically. Dragon Ball is a little different.
I have read some of the manga, and to me, it's like, oh, it's just shot like, or I guess I should say, the show is shot for shot the manga, except animated. But like, it's almost like just straight up like lifted from the pages, which not bad. I mean, it's a great fucking show.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously the spectacle of it, the whole, and most mangas in black and white too. So just having color and having the Kamehamehas and stuff. I mean, it's just so hard to, not enjoy.
I still say deep voice Spanish Goku is my voice. I can't deal with the Japanese. And I know our buddy Hell Pockets would be super fucking mad at me, but I can't take high-pitched Japanese Goku.
I like English Goku.
English Goku's fine too.
I think it's fine.
It's just the majority of the Dragon Ball Z.
But I did watch my first Dragon Ball Z in Japanese, and so that's what I know. It's I know it, and then like the English one you get used to because you watch so much of it on Toonami or whatnot. But
it's like the first time I heard like his voice in Japanese with subtitles. I'm like, wait, what? Why is he a girl? Like I don't understand. Like I don't get it.
Yeah. Because he's like young and jovial. That's like his whole deal.
It's just like you can't be I don't know, because in the Spanish version he's got a deep manly voice. I'm like, makes sense. He's a hero. He's fucking like amazing. Same thing with Vegeta. It's always like a deep voice. And it's like I get it. But then when I heard it, it's like What?
I know.
What?
It's very strange. I think that does it for our list. I had an honorable mention of The Witcher 2, the game over the books. Though I
haven't read the books.
I haven't read the books, but I've heard excerpts of them and read little patches and stuff. And it's just like those games are universally loved. I'm not even a huge fan of the games, honestly.
I tried after the
but
show.
I know how much people love and cherish those games. And then I found out that books were involved beforehand. I'm like, well, that's why I put it as an honorable mention, not a pick. I'm not as well versed on it as I could be.
Yeah, I after I watched the show, I tried the game and I was like, ooh, this is not for me.
Yeah, it's fine.
If we're doing honorable mentions,
here, honorable mention the game to the show. The show I love.
Yeah.
The game I hated.
Well, the honorable mention I was gonna make because I haven't read the book and
Yeah.
we talked about this off air was Fight Club. I've heard I love the movie, seen the movie, love it, but I've heard the book is not that great compared.
Yeah. Another one too is Dark Tower. The movie was by far the best.
Get out. The fuck out. This is where you die.
Kidding, of course. That movie was an attack on me personally, I felt.
Yeah, and poor Idris Elba, man.
Yeah. Dude.
Can't catch a break, man. Like he's a leading man who hasn't got a good leading man role.
Yeah, he's one of those character. I mean, he's always been like a character actor, and he's always amazing. Like in Pacific Rim, he was amazing. In Thor,
which I believe his part wasn't even supposed to be that big, but people loved him so much that they expanded like his character.
Yeah, 100%. And like he was also great in The Wire. I didn't finish all of that series, but
one of the best shows of all time.
But he was very good in it as what was his name? His name was,
I don't remember. But you know
doesn't matter.
You know what's so weird is like I maybe like 2 years ago watched The Wire. So all of Idris Elba I've known is to be a British actor. To hear him say the N-word was so fucking weird.
And like with his Baltimore accent.
Yeah.
It's like, oh fuck.
I was like, wait, what? Like, what? It was so weird to hear him say
very,
it.
very strange to hear Hemdahl speak like that. I didn't care for it. But he's an amazing actor, and this was supposed to be like his first, this was supposed to catapult him into like leading man stardom, and it was just like, and I don't even care about that as much. This is one of those.
He was the best thing about that movie.
It's one of the stories that I love the most. Like, it's my favorite book series of all time. It's by one of my favorite authors. The world is so rich. It's such a well-built fantasy world. And they just they shit on it. They shit on it so hard.
It could be an amazing either show or multi-part movie if it's done right, but it's just no one has been able to do it right.
Yeah, and we found out that they canceled work on the show.
Yeah.
Dude.
One day.
Sorry to end this show on such a downer. But I think overall, I've been very impressed with adaptations in the recent years. I think things like The Witcher and Umbrella Academy are just signs that even, this is kind of a touchy one, but even Game of Thrones, like if you take the first, call it 4 or 5 seasons of Game of Thrones, like those are probably more enjoyable than reading the first 3 books of Game of Thrones. Just from like an emotional investment and like seeing the action, stuff like that. Obviously the books are very good because they have way more backstory and things like that. But it's from a absorption like standpoint, like watching those shows, it's like, oh my God, this is so crazy and so interesting. And reading, it's a different experience. So, I mean, those are very good adaptations. I'm not sure if I would still say better.
What if he finishes the book and the show ending was better? Like, what if? And this whole time we've been shitting on the show and he did not do it better. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying, what if?
Here's what's going to happen. If that happens, remember all the George Floyd riots we had? People are going to take to the streets. People are going to burn his house down with him in it. The worst part about it too is that it's been like 10 years. You know what I mean? That he's been supposedly working on. They're like, when's it coming out? When's it coming out? And it's just not coming out. And I think that if it comes out and is bad, God help him. Like he's going to be hanging from a ceiling fan in his own house.
Maybe he's going to do it.
They're going to Epstein him.
Is that what
That's
they're
what's
gonna
going to happen. The government is going to step in and take him out, which is terrible to say, but it could happen. They've done it before. They'll do it again. All right. Well, that does it for us. We went a little long. We hope everyone enjoyed this. Hopefully this video is out on YouTube and you're enjoying the video. If it got too complicated and I didn't do it, sorry. That was that could have happened too. You know, I'm not a video editor. I'm much more comfortable with audio, but we'll see how this goes. But check us out. You can listen to all of our podcasts at the very least on YouTube. Just search Nerds with Friends and we'll pop up there. Click that subscribe button and notifications so you get notifications of when new ones come out. We have to say that now.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
That's kind of fun.
New.
I mean, you could subscribe to this podcast anywhere and you would still get notifications. You can actually click on nerdswithfriendspodcast.com and subscribe to our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook through there, as well as subscribe to get updates on our blog, which I apologize. I have not done one in a while. It's been an interesting time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, quarantine.
You know, it's like I come here and I spill my thoughts here. So it is what it is. But we hope you enjoyed it. We will see you all next week. Make sure to check out our sponsor and everything. Thank you, Christian, for,
fun
standing by.
As always.
I think this was you think this was a good thing with the video and everything?
Sure. Hopefully people will see it.
I hope people see it, and I hope people like it, and I hope they subscribe and everything. But we'll keep trying it and see how it goes. So see you later. And to all the nerds out there, remember, you're not alone. You're with friends. This is Nerds with Friends. Thank you, and good night.